All right, let's dive into a topic that's absolutely critical when you're working with AI in any kind of regulated space: operator accountability. As these systems get more and more powerful, we have to ask the big question: who's actually responsible for the outcome? Let's get into it. This right here is the golden rule. It is the absolute unshakable foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. In industries with serious oversight, this isn't just a good idea, it's a hard and fast rule. No matter how smart the AI is, you can't pass the buck to a machine. And look, it's a real temptation, right? As an AI starts helping with really complex stuff, it can feel like it's the one calling the shots. But in fields like healthcare or finance, well, the legal and ethical lines are drawn in permanent ink. A human being has to be in the driver's seat, and that means they're the one who's accountable. Period. So if the AI can't be held accountable, then what's its job? This is where we have to be super clear. The AI is there to help, to assist, but it is never, ever the final authority. This breakdown really lays it all out. On the left, you've got the AI. It's a fantastic partner. It can help with analysis, find patterns you might miss, and even suggest what to do next. But look at the right side. That's the human's job: to accept the accountability, to own the consequences, good or bad, and to make the final authority-bearing decision. The AI can build the case, but only a human can be the judge. And that's the key takeaway right there. A system can influence a decision. For sure, it can give you a recommendation. But the second you act on that recommendation, the ownership of that outcome, it jumps right over to you, the person who signed off on it. So why are we so strict about this? It's not because we don't trust the technology. This isn't about the AI's limitations. Keeping a human in the loop is a very deliberate choice, and it all comes down to two things: trust and safety. Yeah, it really all rests on these three pillars. First, trust. We have to be able to trust that decisions are being made with real responsibility. Second, auditability. If something goes wrong, or even when it goes right, we need a clear trail back to a person who can explain why a choice was made. And third, safety. At the end of the day, a person is just better equipped to understand the real-world impact of a decision. And you actually see this principle built right into the software we use every single day. Think about things like approval workflows, peer review gates, or detailed audit logs. They can sometimes feel like a bit of a hassle, but they're not just bureaucracy. They are the tools, the actual mechanics that make human accountability possible. I really love this quote because it just flips the whole perspective. It's so easy to look at these human checkpoints and think they're slowing things down, but they're not bottlenecks. They are the foundation of a system you can actually trust and defend. That's not a bug, it's the most important feature. Okay, so we've got the core idea and the reasons behind it. But how does this actually play out in the real world? Let's look at how this is enforced, right down to the system's design and how people are trained. Now, this is pretty cool. The dedication to this principle is so serious that it even dictates how you're supposed to learn about the system. They use something called mental models, basically simple analogies to get you up to speed. But the rule is clear. These are just training wheels. The second you're dealing with real risk or making a real decision, you have to ditch the simple analogies and use the formal, precise models. And this shows you that strict boundary. When you're just learning the ropes, sure, a simple mental model is fine. But for anything that actually matters, audits, change control, any decision with real authority, you absolutely must use the formal system models. There's just no room for fuzzy interpretations when accountability is on the line. The enforcement gets even more specific than that. It actually extends to the diagrams and charts used to explain how the system works. Every visual is officially considered just an assistive alignment artifact. That's a fancy way of saying its only job is to help humans understand what's going on. They are explicitly forbidden from even hinting that the system does things on its own. And they don't leave it to chance. There's a whole list of banned visuals, so you'll never see a picture of a brain or a robot face because that suggests the AI is a thinking agent. You won't see a diagram of a fully autonomous pipeline because nothing is ever fully autonomous. Every visual is carefully designed to avoid that model as mind metaphor and reinforce one simple truth: this is a tool and you are in charge. So when you put it all together, this is why you see so many guardrails on automation in regulated fields. It's why there are mandatory human review steps. It's not a failure of the technology. It's the non-negotiable principle of operator accountability, making sure a human is always, always at the center of the process. Which brings us to a final question, something for you to take back with you. In your own work, in the systems you use, is that line between the AI assisting and the human being accountable truly explicit? Is everyone on your team crystal clear on where one ends and the other begins? Because getting that right isn't just a good idea, it's the only way to move forward safely.